Hello people, we are Tottenham TV. Spurs are cooking. England are into the last 16. It's just happy days right now. It's just happy days.
How good was yesterday? Harry Kane just saved England from going out of the World Cup with an unbelievable goal. And then within, 10 minutes of the final whistle, whatever it is, we get the here we go from Tonali. Oh man, that was an unbelievable half an hour yesterday. The serotonin is going through my body. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. That feeling, as well. The goal, it was just what a day. And this whole summer so far, ever since the window ended, has just been a bit of a fever dream. I still can't quite believe everything that's going on. We're living in it at the moment. We just got an announcement today, which we spoke about this morning. It's just everything at the moment with Tottenham is just couldn't be more exciting. Couldn't be more exciting.
And it's getting Spurs fans dreaming once again. You know, the negativity has been there for everyone to see the last couple of years, and I think Spurs fans are dreaming of what next season could be like. You know, SZY saying Spurs ain't done yet. He promises us some more signings. There are more players linked to us. I mean, it's just it's never ending at this point.
You know what I'm most excited for? For me, I'm most excited for just getting to talk about football again. Stop talking about ownerships and all this, and this one not underperforming, that one. Just talking about Tottenham on the pitch. I feel like the conversation has been so dominating, and rightly so, because they've been failing us time and time again. But, I love football for what happens on the pitch. That's why I watch the game. And I'm so sick of talking about we don't spend enough money, we're doing things wrong here and there. And seeing what I'm seeing at the moment, I'm just so excited to be getting excited about what we can do on the pitch again. And it feels like it's been ages.
But even when we did talk about what was going on the pitch, there was nothing to talk about. It was all terrible. You know what I mean? I know we won the Europa League and everything, and that was great. But week in, week out, it's just been such a slog, particularly the last two seasons in the Premier League. So now De Zerbi's at the helm. We're getting players in. We're building a squad for him. Scary prospect. One game a week next year. It's good things to come, people.
Good things to come.
Let's get into a Tottenham update. There's a couple of bits and pieces to talk about. First up, let's talk about Eli Kroupi once again. Eli Junior Kroupi, heard from Spurs, says, "What I will say is that yesterday after SZY posted his news, I poked my source for information for some detail. Much like Fernandes, he is intrigued by the Tottenham project. Obviously more talks to be held, but if the finances are right, it could really be a reality." Junior Kroupi.
And at the moment, it seems as though all finances are right with Tottenham. It doesn't matter how much you're demanding.
And if they're not right, we'll make them right.
We'll make them right, exactly. Let's see. I mean, if I'm Kroupi, I think obviously if Tottenham are interested and they're willing to put the money down, and the other clubs that, maybe historically he would have, be chosen before the mark, maybe PSG or Arsenal or whatever, if they're not that seriously looking to spend that amount of money that Tottenham are willing to do, and we've seen with Bournemouth already, first of all, they've just signed a striker, or going to agree to fee already today for a striker. Iraola, who's the manager who brought him in, has gone. They're a kind of club who I know have Europe next season, but they are the kind of club who there is always kind of going to be a ceiling on Bournemouth, however good they do, if it feels like. There's always going to be a model of losing your best players, reinvesting it, signing more players for cheap, and then selling them once they get better. So it kind of feels like it's always difficult to reach anywhere higher than maybe where they were last season. Not saying it's impossible, but very, very difficult. And you're looking at Tottenham. I understand 17th 2 seasons in a row, but you got De Zerbi at the helm. I think Kroupi would love to play under him. You've got all these big signings. There's a different project coming. There's a different feeling around Tottenham going next season. And if I'm Kroupi, I think I'm looking at that and thinking, I would like to be part of that. He probably sees a definite space for him in the team as well. He probably sees, I scored 13 goals last season. De Zerbi maybe could get me up, with get those numbers up in the Premier League as well, with how good he is with attackers. I think he would be super intrigued. I could 100% see Kroupi coming to Spurs if we can get a deal done.
Is there any coincidence that Bournemouth have just signed a striker?
Maybe not. I think Bournemouth always have contingency plans, but they do have Kroupi and Evan Nilsson. So you would think, do they actually need another striker? Maybe obviously they're going to be in Europe next season, and maybe they're obviously planning for that anyway. But they are a team that always does have a contingency plan. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're just getting ready in the eventuality, or the just in case Kroupi was to leave, they got someone already ready and waiting right there.
I think this guy would be absolutely perfect for us. You know, very versatile as well. Last season played predominantly, you know, behind the striker. His favourite role is the striker, and also at Lorient before Bournemouth, he played a lot on the left wing. You know, he played very, you know, a large amount of minutes on the left wing. So to have those three roles filled by a top player, top finishing ability, really creative, so fast as well. This guy is going to go up there. This guy is going to be a world star later on in his career, I believe.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if do I see him as a 9, or do I see him more? For me, he's more like, you know who I liken him to, more like a Julian Alvarez. That's like the kind of Julian Alvarez. Always, I felt look, could do it sometimes as a lone striker in certain games, but he always did his best work like behind Haaland, or in a front two up along like he does now alongside either a Griezmann or Sorloth or whoever it is. Like that's where he was doing his best work. I think that's kind of where I see Kroupi as well. Would I want him as our kind of number 9 lone front man? I don't know if that's his role. So it'll be interesting to see what role we find him. But whatever it is, he's worth having because he's absolute mustard.
I think it will be his role. I think the more and more he gets acclimatised to the English league, I mean, the way he took to it last year was just insane. And yeah, you're right. His best performance did come like just playing off Evan Nilsson. But I think the more and more he gets used to the physicality of this league, the more and more he'll enjoy and flourish playing in the number 9 position as well. So he's a player that, you know, give him time, I think he could do all 3 of those roles to a really high standard.
Yeah, I'm saying that in the near future, like for next season, while he's still quite young, you know, he still needs to. I'm not saying physically he's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying he's not, you know, he's not like massively physically. You don't have to be, I guess, to be.
He
number
automatically comes as the best finisher at the club
by far. And he's just got so much quality. He's already showing that he's hard to deal with as well. He's a hard worker. You know, coming from Bournemouth, he's not going to be. It's not going to be new to him. You know, like pressing from the front and like going in on defenders and, you know, being really intense as well. So that's also a massive plus. So I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, and De Zerbi will take his game up leaps and bounds as well, as much as Iraola did. You know, who's under very good coach in Iraola. And the next step will be De Zerbi, hopefully. And he will just take his games on leaps and bounds, won't he?
He absolutely will. And also, as I've said before, you know, while we've got like Maddison kind of recovering, we've got Xavi out, we've got Decky, we don't know what's going on. Like we could do with another option, like a really good attacking option, like potentially in the number 10 behind a striker for the meantime, while we sort that out, so you can help out in that role as well. Obviously up front we need, I think in certain games, you know, where there's going to be space to play in, you know, he would be absolutely phenomenal in those kind of games. And then off the left, I think if we're struggling to break teams down and like he needs to go somewhere to find some extra space, him cutting inside and like finding those shots from difficult angles, I think he can do that as well. So I think he's quality. He is 20. So he is still quite young, and we know what we know of young players is they can be sometimes inconsistent. They can, you know, go through ups and downs. So we do have to be a bit wary of that. I mean, you know, asking him to come in and immediately be a 20, 30 goal a season player, you know, I think we'd have to temper expectation. I'm not saying he's going to come in and flop. I'm saying he has got unbelievable quality. I'm not saying he can't come in and get 20 goals. I'm just saying we do have to be wary he is a young player, and that can happen. You can go for ups and downs, but he's just worth investing in my opinion.
I agree, but it'll be interesting to see where Spurs actually see him, because I've seen the reports from Miguel Delaney yesterday saying Spurs looking for a left forward, and he's at the top of our list. And I just don't think like he should be categorised as a left forward, because I think the every minute that he played last season for Bournemouth was all centrally. So it makes no sense to me that if we were to, like, he would be our kind of left winger that we bring in. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, those are two different things. Left winger and left forward are two different things. So
it's true, but
he could be a left forward, but not really a left winger.
But the way that, the system that we've seen from De Zerbi don't play with a left forward, it plays with a left winger.
Correct. I wouldn't expect him to be. He would be in competition with Solanke and helping out with Maddison and Xavi as well, and Gallagher in that kind of role for the time being.
When he says left forward, I think he means left winger.
Yeah.
That's what I think he means.
Probably.
But where do they see Kroupi? Like, if we sign Kroupi, does that mean we're not going to sign a striker? Is he going to be the striker signing?
I would say probably. I would say probably, because I think him and Solanke, they offer two different things. They offer good balance. I think he can get goals. I think Solanke can also get goals if we just keep him fit and get him physically right. So I think that could be enough if we get Solanke and Kroupi together, and also they could play together. I think they could create a great partnership in certain games as well, if need be. You've got Solanke making space, and you've got Kroupi picking up those second balls. I think it could be dangerous.
If we were to bring Kroupi in, and you're saying these two will be our strikers, I would still keep Will Lancashire around, as that third striker, because I don't know if that's enough. Because if you're going to play them together as well, you'd still need one more. Like off the bench.
And also, I think Lancashire would actually offer something different to both of those. Because I feel like Solanke offers what we know, which is like unbelievable hold-up play, so strong, creates space for people, great at pressing. Kroupi offers, unbelievable finishing, great technical ability, ability to play in between the lines. But then what Lancashire offers is just someone who just sniffs out the goals, a real poacher, someone with physicality like he does, big, strong guy. But if you need a goal, 15 minutes to go, you could throw Lancashire on, swing the ball in, and he can just sniff out those opportunities. Now, obviously, we don't know if he's good enough to do that in the Premier League. That would have to be seen. But I think it's worth taking a punt on, to be fair.
I agree. Next up, we're going to talk about the left winger position. The next name on the list is Antonio Nusa, which is really interesting because, we spoke about him the other day saying, why don't Spurs look at Antonio Nusa? There was a report from, I think it was Sky Sports Germany, I believe it was, or Philip Hines, is he Sky Sports Germany? But anyway, it was Philip Hines that said it.
Yeah, he is Sky Sports Germany, yeah.
Yeah, he said that Nusa is very important to RB Leipzig. However, they're going through a few money issues. They want to keep Yan Diomande at all costs, and Nusa, they'll be willing to let him go for 60 million euros. I'm thinking 60 million euros for Antonio Nusa, I think is a steal. 21 years of age. He's ripping it up at the World Cup right now for Norway. Had a great season last year for RB Leipzig. It's someone that Spurs have historical interest in as well. So, heard from Spurs says Nusa is definitely one to keep an eye on.
I think he's an alternative to Savinho. I don't think we get both of them. I think we probably get one of them. I think they're very similar, like for like. I think if they're going to be stubborn on that figure, and we potentially walk away, albeit we have paid the fee so far, so maybe we would just pay it. But obviously, I wouldn't mind getting both. But in my mind, that's how I see these two players. They're basically very similar. They offer very similar things. So I really like Nusa. I think he's obviously was really highly sought after. Was it Club Brugge? Then had that medical at Brentford that failed for whatever reason. We don't know what happened there, but he failed a medical at Brentford. He got picked up by Leipzig. He's done really well. I don't think he's blown them away, but he's been good. He's progressed as a player and become quite sought after. He's been pretty good at this World Cup as well. So I do really like him. Very kind of flexible, really good at dribbling. Obviously, similar to Savinho, kind of needs some work in that final third. But again, good young wingers that can happen. That obviously happens. Who do I think is better between him and Savinho? I think I just side with Savinho personally. I think Savinho is a bit more versatile. I think he's a bit better on both wings. I don't know how good Nusa is playing off the right, whereas Savinho is really good off the left and really good off the right. I think Savinho is actually better at dribbling. I think Nusa might have a little bit more when it comes to his shooting ability. But I actually think Savinho is a bit more creative.
You say that Nusa's got more in his shooting ability, but actually Savinho's more proven in that aspect in terms of what he did in the Spanish league.
That's also true.
Nusa has never pulled up anywhere near those numbers.
No, but I'm just looking at the tech. I saw that goal he scored against wherever it was. Was it on who did they play the other day? He scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
Scored a brilliant goal. And I've never seen Savinho do that, with that kind of just effectiveness, just cut inside, whipped it far corner, absolutely brilliant. And I think his shot technique is a bit better than Savinho. I think Savinho doesn't get the separation for those moments as well as Nusa. He gets a lot of shot blocks, he snatches at things. But I just think Savinho is a better player. I think he's got more to his game. He's a bit more creative. I think he's a better dribbler and he's more versatile. So, and I think there is those concerns with Nusa, with the medical, whatever happened there, we don't know. But I do think that's a concern for me. So I would go with Savinho, but I do think Nusa's a pretty good fullback option if for whatever reason Savinho doesn't work out.
Do you not think there's a world where, I know you're saying they're very similar, to bring in both, because then you have Kudus, Savinho and Deki if he ever comes back on the right-hand side. Then on the left-hand side, you can have Nusa, Savinho and Mattis Tel.
Again, I do think we need two. I would assume if we're going for two, we might go for someone with a bit who can just pull a rabbit out of the hat, you know, someone who has something like Leao with a better work rate kind of thing, like or a Rashford, someone who we know is a bit more efficient when it comes to in front of goal scoring kind of winger, a forward basically, a wing forward kind of player. Maybe Kroupi could fill that in if we're going for him. But I mean, we could go for Nusa and Savinho. I wouldn't say no to that. I think that would obviously fill up the wing positions. But in my mind, Nusa would be an alternative to Savinho rather than as well as.
And last but not least, we'll talk about Lucas Bergvall. There's been a report on Sky Sports saying that Tottenham have told Lucas Bergvall he is not leaving Spurs. However, there has been response to that from another journalist from Sky Sports saying they've been told Bergvall still wants to leave Spurs to play regularly in his favoured position, which is number 8. Forest are very interested in a deal and expect the fee to be around 45 million plus a sell-on. So I guess, do you not think like this is just coming out saying just to drive the price up a little bit? You know, Spurs saying he's not for sale, telling Bergvall he's not for sale, all this. I feel he is going to leave this summer.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is if he keeps pushing for it, it's only going to go one way. We can only do so much. And we've obviously done a good deal with Vuskovic, 20% sell-on, and with a first refusal, that kind of stuff. If we could get similar add-ons, I mean, I don't know if Marinakis will play ball as much as the Brighton chairman did, but if we can get a similar deal with Bergvall, you know, 50 to 60 million, sell-on clause, maybe a first refusal to buy back, I think we'd be much more open. But right now, of course, the price isn't right for us. We actually do want to keep him. So the stance would be, we're not selling him. He's staying with us. And I think, you know, because I think at the end of the day, I think we would, by the end of the window, I do think we want him in the squad. I think that would be preferable. But if he really is pushing to leave, and obviously we are spending a lot and we could do with a bit of money coming in anyway, not to say that we want it for Bergvall, but we could do with sales. I think there will be some movement there. I agree.
If we had midfield options of Tonali, Fernandes, Bergvall, Gray, and Bentancur,
and Gallagher,
yeah, I guess you know you do have to sell. I mean, the thing
not
is,
even including Sarr. Sarr's still here. He's obviously going to go.
Yeah, Sarr. I'm saying Sarr is probably going to go. I see Gallagher as more of a 10 right now in terms of you're looking at the makeup of the squad and where the gaps are, and you know, De Zerbi likes a nice little pressing number 10, so Gallagher fills that role. So let's just talk about the other 5 midfielders that are going to play in the 6 and the 8, whatever you want to call them. So is it too much to have those 5 players, or can all these players end this season happy with the amount of minutes?
I think there will be fight for minutes. It will be difficult. I don't know if everyone will be happy. I think there's got to be an understanding that right now we've got no Europe and there's got to be a real battle to get into the team. Obviously, we've been historically ravaged with injuries. So if what happened, even if we have half the injuries that we've had over the last 2 seasons, there'll be plenty of minutes. Yeah. There'll be plenty of minutes. But obviously, if we're assuming that we're getting over these injury problems, then look, regardless, there will be injuries anyway. Regardless, it doesn't matter how bad they are. There's going to be injuries during the season, so they will get minutes. But whether they're going to get enough minutes to like for Gray's example, to really develop into the player that he really wants to be, all those kind of stuff, it's going to be difficult. But maybe if there's understanding, if we get into Europe next season and all of a sudden there's going to be a hell of a lot of minutes to go around, maybe that can be a driving factor. But it's a tough sell, especially for someone like Bergvall, who didn't have. I think Gray's a bit different because he was played a lot last season, obviously before De Zerbi came in, so he did get a lot of minutes. So if he had a season next season where it's a bit less, maybe he wouldn't be as unhappy with the view of getting Champions League. But Bergvall's already had a season, right, where he's not had a lot of minutes. So to have 2 of those in a row, even with the view of having a European season the next season, that's a tough sell for someone like Bergvall.
Yeah, I'm not sure Archie Gray will be looking at it like that because he got all those minutes under different managers, and then De Zerbi came in and then completely one game and then on the bench and then barely got a look in. So
yeah, but he still played over the season in terms of minutes he got. He'll be if you told him that that's the amount of minutes
you need regular minutes as the years progress. You know,
I
1
understand
year
that.
on, 1 year off doesn't really help.
No, but he's had 2 years where he's had. If you are told Gray over this 2 year period you're going to get this amount of minutes, he'd be probably delighted when he signed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I mean that surely was the plan for Gray when we signed him. That's probably why one of the reasons why he joined us. We paid 40 million for him,
Correct.
for God's sake. So I don't know. I don't think any of these players will be happy for for what Bergvall went through last season. Like if Gray goes through that next season, I don't think he'll be happy.
I don't think he'll be happy, but the view is. But my point is, he might not be happy for that year, but then next season we're going to have European football, so there'll be plenty of minutes.
Yeah.
Right now, Bergvall's just had that season, and now we ask him to have another season with the view that's a bit much. That's what like if Gray had a season where he's not playing as much. My point is he going to then ask to leave just off the back of that one season, right? If we were in Europe this season, I don't think Bergvall asks to leave because I think he knows he's going to get minutes. But because we're not in Europe, he can't have a second season just like that. That's my point.
I get it. Yeah, you might have a point there, but if it was up to me and all these players want to stay and blah blah blah, I'll tell Bentancur out of Bergvall, Gray, and Bentancur. I know Bentancur is probably the better player right now out of all three, but these two guys have got a big future. They really do. But again, you look at it, to have Bentancur as a backup to those two, I mean, that is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be phenomenal. I think Bergvall will end up being. I am pretty confident Bergvall's going to end up being a better player than Bentancur. So that's just kind of the feeling I get. So on that basis, I would like to keep him around. But as you say, right now, Bentancur is the better player. We saw what a difference it made, wasn't it, when he came back into the team last season? It was like night and day. He made such a difference.
If Bergvall really wants to leave and he's incensed on leaving and he doesn't see where he fits in next season, then it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to say like if we sell him, it's a disgrace or anything like that. If he wants to go, he can go. He should go. There's nothing more to say.
Do we think also Paulinho, that's just dead now?
Yeah, for sure. Unless Paulinho wants to come in as like a proper backup and just literally for injuries, I'll be up for that. But
I can't see Tottenham signing him permanently. I wonder if they might do another loan deal if he's still around by near the end of the window.
I would like actually to sign Paulinho in that role to give him basically a bench role. I think it's a great player to have.
Do like what Højbjerg used to do, like just come on for 20 minutes and see games out and things like that. I think he's actually I think when Paulinho, on the very few occasions we had to see a game out last season and he had that role of coming on, he was actually quite good doing that.
Anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we have brought you today.